Cruiser and Grundy get to work straight away. Cruiser's kick smothered. Cripps quickly backwards to Simpson, and here's Gibbs, who played so well last week. Ball towards half forward. Interesting one for Casbolt, and just a little ricochet off Tuvey.
No,
Deliberate.
Levi.
Well, that looked accidental to me, to be perfectly honest.
Got to start over.
He went straight at the boundary line, though.
Accidentally deliberate. And Levi Casbolt, who, well, this is probably his range, to be fair, just pops the ball up towards the hot spot. Good mark by Frost. Jones had a good run at it, but Frost hands on the footy, and now Greenwood.
Play on, you.
Well, quickly over top, heard the umpire there, then just in front row, knocked it through. Tui out the back, handballs, retreats. Simpson happy to concede again. And Kieran Byrne, as always, socks up to Curnow. A couple of young men starting their journey together. You get the feeling they'll be playing alongside each other a while. Now in the hands of Doherty.
Move it on. Play on.
So healthy crowd on a perfect Saturday afternoon. Doherty. Everett, one of the ins for the Blues this afternoon, flew but couldn't get hold of the football. Quickly Matty Wright onto his boot, no one at home.
Hold there.
And then Reid, as he's done so often for the Magpies, drifts back, saves the day and sends it to the outer side. Greenwood went to ground, now a chance. Simpson tries to get away from Greenwood. Inside it comes to Gibbs, got a couple of runners. Tui is one of those, ignores him, thinks about things and then turns it over into the hands of De Goey.
That's De Goey's view. He's quickly away, and they use Grundy cleverly with Smith. Back to side bottom, who started it all off, and now the big man can give it to Treloar. It was a good handball. It released him. Pops over the top for Fasolo. Needs to wait for it to sit. Puts it on the deck and puts the first score on the board. In terrific form is Alex Fasolo. 15 goals now for the year, and that was beautiful transition football.
Well, it was an intercept mark that sort of set them in motion again. That's the second time in the first couple of minutes of play where Carlton haven't been able to find a forward, but they've been able to find a Collingwood defender. And it started all the way back, and then they were able to carry the ball by hand until they got it into the hands of Fasolo. Well, this is a turnover critically there. Gibbs had plenty of time there to pick out a Carlton player. De Goey read it well. And then they were on their way, Collingwood. Smart start, easy finish for Fasolo.
So Alex Fasolo, 14 goals in the first 5 matches of the year last weekend. Didn't trouble the scorer. First of the afternoon, 15 now for the season for him. 15-3, it's been accurate. Liam Jones, little give was good. Casbolt, Cruiser. Now Gibbs, keen to make amends. Goes backwards. Simpson and Murphy. Rafflet, Murphy.
That's you.
Helmet for the 3rd week in a row. 2 wins so far. Sumner big fly. Not quite. Cripps took on De Goey. Gave the football up though. And Greenwood works through traffic. Frost just left the footy behind. Jones happy to hold it up. Is he made an effort?
On the ball, Collingwood.
She's unlucky there, Collingwood. He left the ball behind him because he wasn't expecting it. It was the last thing he thought that Levi Greenwood was going to do.
I said as he made the effort, you've just got to look like you're trying, and Liam Jones didn't make it obvious at all he was making any sort of an effort to get rid of the footy.
So Frost with all of that in front of him, long cruiser direction at the back of the pack. That's a good mark taken by Doherty, who plays on quickly. They open things up. Simpson just inside the square to Gibbs, just outside the 50. Casbolt! And his name all over it from the moment it left the boot of Bryce Gibbs.
Well, it's just those repeat entries putting enormous pressure on Collingwood. And that time, nobody was in the air contesting with Levi Casbolt, and we know that he's got a terrific pair of scratches.
But what about the kicking team? Levi, 3 goals, 6 this season. Inaccuracy in his genes.
I'm tipping him to kick this.
3-6 from 15 set shots. He kicks the Blues opening of the game. Well done, Levi.
Well, we know he's got a great set of hands. That's never been his problem, and it's only been really this year more than even last year. Last year was okay from set shots, actually, but this year he's really had the yips. Brendan Bolton spoke about him during the week, saying that he's just about kicking his leg off at training. They just don't want him to kick the ball anymore. And his accuracy has been good under the tutelage of Sav Rocker. So that's an easy one, but that gives his a lot of confidence for the rest of the game. There's a kick in and just fine. He's always been courageous in the air, but just nobody there contesting at all.
I know we said this last week, Tim, but if he can get his kicking anywhere near his marketing competency, he's one of the key forwards in this game.
Yeah, agree.
So he gets his first of the afternoon and levels up the ball game. A goal apiece. Underneath all of that, De Goey, Jamison and Curnow. Has he made an effort? No.
Goes into an attempt.
I think that's the right decision there, because his first attempt then was to fend off the tackle, and then he got wrapped up in the tackle. So that's a good decision.
Move it on. Play on.
So Jamison, one of the four-ins for the Blues, a couple of weeks in the VFL, an emergency the week prior. Played the first 3 weeks of the season, but just been overlooked on form. So streaming from half-back onto the chest of Jones out. Where next? Casbolt provides a big option. Jones goes in that direction. Cripps, though, just dropped in front. Casbolt 10 metres behind him.
Cruiser's been good in the early part of this game.
195 centimetres. It wasn't lost on me when Sully brought it up. Just 4 centimetres less than Casbolt. Inside to Sumner.
On his size there, Ham, I don't mind the idea of Cripps actually going forward. If he can drag those midfielders with him and they can try and isolate him in some way, he's going to be really dangerous to match up on.
There's that strong tackle there by Jamison. And Sully's quite right, he can. And he's smart enough to know when to actually go forward and get that mismatch too. And or just fly in the air with the other tools.
He's only 5 centimetres shorter than Cruiser. So Sumner. Well, that's perfect. Blues get a couple in a row and they lead by 6 points. Inside 50 count. Early days, I know, but 6-2, so no problem in the middle of the ground for the Blues.
And they're monopolising the ball too, Hammer. They've had 49 touches to 23, so they're just getting their hands on the ball, Carlton, and they're sharing the ball. Cruz has been good. They've been good around the packs in the early stage of this game, so a couple of worries for Nathan Buckley. We know that they started really slowly last week against the West Coast Eagles too. There's the kicking action. Nice, straight, fluent action.
Yeah, perfect. Collingwood only 33 inside 50s last week against the West Coast Eagles. That's their lowest total for a game for 3 years.
Let him up, let him up.
Farmer's got a free kick for Cripps, who was involved last time. Now Doherty off half-back. It's a long floating ball. Well read by Howe. Oh. Dangerous ball across goal. Oxley now with Armfield with him. Boundary line closing as well. It was a difficult one to play, but he played it okay. And running hard in support. Tuvey got it across over the top from Crisp. They move it quickly to Moore. Moore can give it back to Tuvey. No, he can't. Broomhead's handball sold him into trouble. Holding the ball.
They've tried to...
And now 50.
They've tried to switch the ball a couple of times, Collingwood, but Carlton have had their players blocking those exits, and they've been able to defend really well in transition.
Mark's here.
Ball just not going back cleanly.
Yep.
And this brings him right in range.
Carlton is just controlling the entire ball movement at the moment, but starting at the stoppages, the contested ball is 14-4 in Carlton's favour.
The Irishman, just his 6th game of AFL footy from County Louth. He's never kicked a goal in AFL football. Still hasn't.
There's huge raps on him, though.
I was about to say that. Every time you speak to anyone at Carlton.
Anytime.
They're saying this guy is 10-year plus.
Can really play. He's going to be a mainstay in their back 6, I think, for the next decade. You're right, Hammer.
Oxley goes for some territory. No chance for Crisp. Things slowed down a little. He's hard up against the line, the youngster in Crocker. That's Ben Crocker, number 39, making his debut. As we said earlier, grew up barracking and screaming for the Collingwood Football Club. Lived in the same street as Scotty Burns. Got his jumper from Scott Pendlebury. His parents, Paul and Vicky, watching on from the stands this afternoon. Hope it is a long and successful career. Ball to the outer side. Tough for side bottom.
Nickname Barry, do you think? It would have to be, wouldn't it, at a footy club?
Be close to that.
I think so. Picks itself.
I'd be disappointed if it wasn't.
Footy clubs being what they are. Cruiser, well done. That was clever. Cripps gave it to Curnow. Yeah, involved early, Tim, isn't he? Simpson back to Curnow. And a dangerous one floating through the middle of the ground. Some jeers for Thomas, and now the ball off to Doherty, who runs hard, wanted to draw the man and give it to Sumner. Does all of that okay, and Daisy again from the wing. Not the best of kicks, and the mark taken by Smith.
Now to De Goey. Vision was good, found Maynard. Thomas got there, not before Maynard had flushed the ball to side bottom. Normally good on either side, and he puts it into the pocket at full stretch. Jesse White unable to reel the ball in. So White, who's been a bit of an experiment so far this year, forward back.
Preferring him to Cloak again, though, which in itself is a big statement right now.
So Grundy and Cruiser. So good to see Cruiser putting games together. Kerridge did well. Took on the bump and then into the hands of Byrne. But James Aish, one of the inclusions this week for the Pies, yet to really make his mark as a Collingwood player, but maybe today
Keep the meter, Brody.
he gets comfortable in the black and white.
All the ball in Carlton's half in the early part of this game.
Casbolt and Sumner, the scorers for the Blues. Fasolo got the first of the afternoon for the Pies. Doherty had the ball, lost it. Now Howe, clever. Pendlebury back from Pendlebury. A little bit of pace. Can he finish things off? Goes close to it.
Have you seen his move to Collingwood, Tim? Jeremy Howe?
He hasn't really been on fire just yet. And we haven't seen him take any of those speckies really in Collingwood colours yet either.
No, that's the point, isn't it? Tui Jones, speaking of speckies, gets up high, third man in the pack and brings down a good grab.
That's always been the best part of his game too, Liam Jones.
So Jones not the best of kicks, a high ball in the Thomas direction. He had a couple to beat. Blair taken high by Walker.
Straight up. Ready, Mud?
Hard not to take him high, isn't it?
Don't lose it. Let him get up.
Pygmies have been in the news this week too, haven't they?
Take your kick. He's on the mark, okay?
Big apology issued yesterday.
East west.
Young man from the Gippsland under-18s. Premiership player with the Magpies. Game 129 today. He's been terrific footballer. Well done by Cox to Treloar. Interesting the way he got it there. And that ball out of the pack cleverly. Gee, that was well done, wasn't it? So Curnow across to Jones to Casbolt, and then they got the ball to Simpson eventually. He was asked to go now. Not the best one for Kerridge. Delivery not great, nor was the take. Kerridge, Broomhead over the line. They'll start it all over again.
Kerridge, the 23-year-old. 27 games for the Crows over 4 years. He's been terrific as a Blues so far. Casbolt giving Cruiser a little bit of a reprieve. Takes on the big American. An amazing story, regardless of how you sort of frame it up. To play his first game against the Bombers on Anzac Day and to be delivered the ball so perfectly, and then to finish it off with a goal with his first kick. Regardless of how his career plays out, it's been extraordinary to get so far already. Kerridge to half forward, long wait. Jones just slapped it down. Here's a chance. Murphy, not clean the first time, still has an opportunity. Runs into trouble. Got taken to ground. Oxley was the tackler. A couple of them come out a little gingerly. Back it goes. Right to Gibbs. Pulls the kick. Found his man. So Everett, the leading goal scorer from last year, and go back and kick the Blues third.
Jones was instrumental in that play there. Carlton were outnumbered 2-3 in that marking contest, and he just brought it to ground, put it in Mark Murphy's favour, and they managed to just keep surging it forward there.
We just saw that it was actually Everett that kicked the ball off the ground too into space, and then he took off himself into space. Smart play.
Kicked a couple in the opening round and one in the second. Hasn't played since. Injured and had some calf problems, couple in the VFL. For
their domination, though, at the moment, they're just 7 points in front, Carlton, and I think that, you know, Collingwood are playing really poorly at the moment, yet they're clearly still in the game.
So Oxley to Reid, and That's his read on the game right there. A long ball. Cox was the target. Handballed out into space and ends up with Broomhead. So this is better from Collingwood. Running hard, using Greenwood now. Jesse White, they can give it on to Treloar. Or closer to the first gamer. Nice ball forward by Crocker. It bounces inside 50. Now, tough one here. Handball over the top was clever to Moore from Fasolo. Back to Fasolo. He's kicked the opening goal of the game. Crisp. Handball into space. Not the best of them. Oxley under pressure. Armfield arrives. Curnow there as well. Blues might get out or not. Crisp wrapped up. Holding the ball. Well, maybe a little tough. Armfield with the tackle.
Now they're away here. Potentially the Blues to one-on-one at least. Walker, who's got the pace? The kick, well, tough in the end. Walker got there, but he was never in great shape. Howe breathing down his neck, and the boundary line just a little too close.
Curnow breathing down Treloar's neck too. He looks to have that job on him this afternoon. Averaging one of 5 players in the competition this season. Treloar averaging 30 disposals a game.
Been remarkable, hasn't he? Just the one outing when he's dipped under the 30. That was against the Saints. That was a 25-week outing. So the Pies have got what they wanted from him so far this season.
It's like Greenwood's going to Murphy as well. Murphy's only had the 1 touch so far.
Umpires are making their intentions clear today on how they'll adjudicate the holding the ball.
Been hot on it, haven't they, Haim? Broomhead. Maynard. Rowe in the best position, and Byrne arrives. Such a good player. Had his shot on goal earlier in this term. A long ball now down towards full forward. Walker flew, good fist away. Doesn't quite find the line. So side bottom, mopping up in the back pocket. Plowman over the top. That was a clever fist. He found the line with it and spoiled all in the one action.
Hawthorn has shown us that you can clearly win games of football without winning the contested possession, but there's a real imbalance at the moment. 23 Carlton, 11 Collingwood. So they've been good at winning the contest. They've been good at winning the ball back off Collingwood too, Carlton, in this first term.
Cox and Cruiser. Curnow lost the football, then pulled it back in. He might be in trouble here. Somehow the footy got out the back. Right. Here's Gibbs breaking through the traffic. Touched the call. Everett was sweating on it. It comes out Tui's way instead. Short kick. Hard taken. Walker.
I reckon he's one of the pieces of the jigsaw that has been missing Walker. He's a really smart forward. We've seen him kick big bags of goals as a Carlton forward. Him coming back into the side today just gives him another avenue. Just getting way off his man then, Jeremy Howe.
So just the 1 goal, 1 so far this season. The 29-year-old closing in on 200 games. Out with a calf injury the last 5 weeks after playing the opening game of the season, but accuracy eludes him there and just sneaks in for a point. It's the Blues by 8 points, and Tim, they should be further in.
Oh, they should be a long way in front, yeah. And that was a tentative kick from Walker. He's been out of action for a while, but he just jabbed at that one.
11 inside 50s to 5. 5 scoring shots to 2, but the Blues by just 8 points. As we've said a couple of times, if you've just tuned in, a wonderful autumn afternoon in Melbourne.
They've set up really well defensively. Their transition's been really quick, Carlton, and made it really difficult. Here they go, they turn the ball over again. And that's all about the defensive pressure. Just denying Collingwood that easy out, that first exit kick.
So Oxley to Everett, to the top of the square. Jones flew, got it. Well done. You're saying just a couple of minutes ago, Tim, his marking has always been the best part of his game.
He's got really good hands, really sticky hands. And the kicking hasn't always been the best part of his game, but he's in a really high percentage position here scoring.
Again, set up by Carlton's defensive play, and Bolts said in the pre-game interview how important that was going to be in today's game.
A couple of crucial goals against the Dockers. A left foot snap last week against the Bombers. This, well, it doesn't get much easier. So the Blues have got their 3rd. They're out to 14 points.
One area that Collingwood has really struggled in this year, and there's been a lot of them, but it's just been that consistency of defence and defender. Nathan Brown got dropped during the week. Frost has been in and out. And this week they've got Reid, Tuvey, Oxley, Smith, Maynard and Frost. They've got Williams out of the side, who is one of their running players. So they really have struggled to get that consistency there. And it's an area that I think that Carlton can target today, particularly in the air. Didn't come off the ball absolutely perfectly, but
Here we go, boys.
got the desired result.
Yeah, it didn't matter. 5 disposals for Gibbs. He leads all players out on the grounds. Look at the forward half numbers. 69 to 31 in favour of the Blues, and as Tim has pointed out a couple of times, they should be, well, further in front and considerably further in front. Curnow held up.
Thanks, Ed. Thanks, Ed. Cheers, mate.
Collingwood have been poor in opening quarters so far this season, haven't they?
Play on.
They've won just one, the lowest in the first 6 rounds since 1995. So unless something changes here, the Blues win the first term.
He left that behind. He had the footy and then Kerridge the high ball. It won't be a mark. Fisted out Tui's way. Now Cruiser can use Sumner. And away they go again, the Blues. Exciting football. Casbolt in front of Frost. Played it really well and then paddles in front of Jones, who didn't have the football when he was tackled. Reid. Maynard. Casbolt's pressure terrific. Sumner. Everett. High ball. Back to the square. Thomas maybe. Didn't get that far, and Lamb contesting the ball over the line for another rushed behind. So Carlton's lead 15 points. 3-4. 1-1. Playing very well, the Blues. Look at the last group of inside 50s. It's a cluster Carlton's way.
And 13-5 overall Carlton's way.
Move it on. Play on.
So after Fasola got the first of the afternoon, the Blues have dominated the scoring. Casbolt, Sumner and Jones, the goal scorers. 4 minor scores. Brendan Bolton trying to make it 3 wins in a row for the first time for the Blues since late 2013. We know he made it 5 in a row as the senior coach of the Hawks a couple of years ago. New club, different list, a lot of changes. 15 list changes in the summer. 5 from a coach's perspective. So much is new. Here is Crisp inside. Pendlebury tackled immediately by Byrne. Somehow got boot to ball. Chance for Greenwood. Has a look about. Over the top it goes. Howe had to wait a while. Thomas was the tackler. Back inside Greenwood to Treloar. Back it comes to Howe. Now Smith back to Greenwood. Kick and a half from home. Dangerous spot. Grundy, the tall timber, ran into by Gibbs. Side bottom. Normally finishes it off. This time he'll give it off. A chance into an open goal. They've got another one. And this time it's Broomhead. I thought side bottom was going to finish himself then. He thought about it and thought, well, Tim Broomhead deserves one. In a good spot. Unselfish. They get a second. 4 minutes before quarter time. Margin's back to 9. Blues have had most of the possession. 9-point lead only.
It's not great news for Carlton down here. Daisy Thomas has just gone down the race, falling awkwardly on his shoulder. It's not the one he's had problems with in days gone by, but he looked to be pretty sore.
Thanks, Phil. He can't take a trick, can he? And against his old team, gloomy again. 157 games for the Magpies, and last week 31 disposals and the opening goal of the match. Now this, Tim, is where we think the injury occurred.
Must be on this tackle here. It just must have landed awkwardly after that.
So Pendlebury kicked the last high ball. Moore had his hands on the footy. Broomhead, who kicked that last goal, and Moore, terrific recovery. Blair paddled it out for De Goey. Wanted to have a shot. Jesse White gets the shot instead. 2 in a row for the Magpies, and it's back to a 3-point ball game. Well, a confidence booster for Jesse White. They had a few opportunities actually to pull the trigger there. The defence just a little looser that time. Can't help but think about Daisy Thomas though, and see another shoulder injury.
Yeah, he's had a miserable 3 years.
Incredible, isn't it?
Really found it difficult to have a clear run at it. Just watch this again. There's the first tackle on Treloar. It's almost Curno's hip hits his arm, doesn't it?
Yep.
They've just moved the shoulder in the joint a bit.
So he missed 16 with the shoulder last year, but it looked to be that right shoulder that's not taped that got hurt on that occasion. We'll wait to get updated from downstairs, but terrible news. We mentioned Dale Thomas pre-game, his last 2 weeks as a Blue, 3 goals against the Dockers and then 31 and a goal last week against the Bombers. Starting to find some form and the body allowing him to produce what we know he's so capable of. So the Pies have answered through Broomhead and White. The margin now just 3 points as we narrow in on quarter time. Doherty back inside it comes. Simpson plays game 250 next weekend. Been a long and durable serviceman for the Blues. To half forward, who's at home? Casbolt just works his way around. A couple of Pies to beat. Well done, Oxley. Had a lot of the football. Umpire said not enough of it initially. Hit the ground.
Might hit the deck, I think, yeah. Maybe not. So just outside 50, the Blues, they've been dominant in this term. 14-7 inside 50s. Murphy ripped off the ball when he didn't have it.
Easy.
And they've taken 5 marks inside their attacking 50 as well. The other end of the ground, Collingwood hasn't taken a mark yet. Their scoring source has been from stoppages. They've kicked 3 goals from stoppages.
Yeah, it's the problem when you're wasteful, isn't it? So again, that 3-quarter kick. Casbolt, Sumner at the back. No mark. Walker a chance. Alongside Sidebottom. He paddled to Plowman and it came off the back of Plowman's boots and ends up with Crisp. Now Oxley. So comes back inside defensive 50. Back to Reid. Short ball's okay. That was all controlled nicely by the Magpies, and Crisp just on defensive 50. Chance to send them forward again with less than 2 minutes to play now in this opening term. Howe out to White. Kick around Plowman. Down the line. Doherty drifting in. Goes again. Gets the footy on the ground. Back to Plowman. Now Murphy. Retreats. And Doherty runs away and boots it long.
So just on a minute and a half, and Casbolt, again, a strong grab. Just needs to wheel around onto the right boot. Well, the Pies are getting back now. The Blues had a couple of options. He's taken his time, and suddenly the attacking 50 is a crowded one. Still a chance here for the Blues. The throw in with 70 seconds to play in the opening term.
I'd be wheeling around and going as quick as I could too, because this Collingwood defence still doesn't look settled. There are gaps and spaces there. They don't shut down players nearly quickly enough.
Cruiser and Grundy. Grundy won that, knocked it down. Curnow had hands on it, only momentarily though. Tuvey had the footy, got stripped without it in the end. The tackle. Gibbs to a hot spot, but De Goey is there for the Pies. And well, still time for the Pies to build something. And they could be leading at quarter time. For the moment though, the Blues by 3. De Goey short ball. Almost collected the umpire on the way through. Brendan Hosking ducked at the right moment. Ball to the outer side.
And this indecision is all about defence. Carlton have been really good at blocking those exits again. Collingwood are trying to escape. They're trying to move the ball quickly.
Well, Plowman almost arrived in time.
Stay out. Too close, Andrew. Inside 10.
Well, there's a let off because this bloke has got a big hoof on him too.
Well, especially at that stage of the game. I mean, you'd think awareness should be at its absolute maximum. Really, they were running down the clock, and now it must got on goal.
It must have been a close thing, though. Let's just have a look at it again. There's Walker just to the right of White there. He's actually moved in to take the mark here now.
You're about 5 meters away from him.
Stiff there.
Well, probably had he drifted on to the next contest, it would have been okay. The fact that he came in and manned the mark, I don't think they want that used as a tactic.
So the last kick of the term. And a minor score only. So Jesse White kicks the last goal and the last point of the term. And at quarter time, it's the Blues by a couple of points against the old rival.
At least a couple?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Start of the second term. Curnow read it well from Grundy. He hooks it back inside 50. Long ball. Walker in front. Armfield at the back. Well done by Smith. He got a fist in there, and if he finds the line, it'll be perfect. He didn't. Armfield back to Thomas. So that is terrific. Outside 50. Wobbles one towards the hot spot. That was too easy. Murphy just waiting. The mix-up from Collingwood. The goal. Well, as easy as you like. Won't get too many easier than that. Smallest man in the contest, not even in the contest.
Well, the ball just should never have got over the back. They should have been able to kill it in the air, but it was such a wobbler. Yeah. It'd be great to see a replay of this ball because it was doing a lot in the air. Wasim Akram would have been happy with that. Well, that was the centre coming in there from Daisy Thomas, and just a smart ground level player, Murphy, picking it up and pretty easy snap in the end.
Oh, no.
I think it was the umpire. Just talking to himself. Not sure whether it was encouragement or despair, but Gibbs quickly out the back. Here's a chance for Thomas at full stretch. Broomhead doesn't quite get to him. Then the driving ball into the pocket. Walker and Maynard. Umpire said Maynard was...
Go back to him now.
He just took his eye off the ball and pushed him out of the contest.
Come out to 10.
Cripps, just a little give in the centre then. Got Carlton rolling. He is such an intelligent player inside a contest.
Back over. 15 gone. Front on contact.
So Murphy's got the first for the Blues in this second term. Another sort of hesitant kick at the ball like his set shot at the other end in the first. Half hitting it.
He's had two kicks at goal, and neither of them have been convincing. This is where they've been really able to jam Collingwood too defensively.
So Oxley to a big pack of players. Walker, one of those out the back. Mason Cox knocked it down. Pendlebury. Broomhead heard the umpire, so quickly Plowman gets the footing, tries to get rid of it. Crocker, the first game, had put him to ground. Treloar, pick-up was good, side bottom. Now Crisp over the top, big handball to Treloar, who just kept on running. Back inside to Blair. Blair back to Treloar, back inside, sidestep was good. Top of the square, more. Well, Murphy came crashing in. Pies will get a kick at goal. Well, you heard the umpire's chat. Was it a goal? Yes, it was. Goal to the Pies.
Well done by the first gamer, Ben Crocker. He created that, didn't it? It was a brilliant tackle. Not rewarded the tackle, but the ball spilt loose and goal at the other end. Well done.
And we saw the value then of Treloar, though, too. It was one of the first times this afternoon where he's been able to get some separation on Curnow. Curnow was chasing him, but he just didn't have the leg speed. And then Treloar also got a block, and that's what he can do. He can break the lines and he can create. Well, here's the kick. There's the front on spoil from Murphy. That was a free kick to Moore, but it was play on advantage. The first one wasn't a great advantage. The second one was.
Good stuff from Ben Crocker. Terrific tackle. Called it well, Heyman. That really started it all off. So a couple of disposals, but a couple of very important touches, and we're back to a two-point ball game. The ball eventually gets to Cruiser. It was Cripps. Now Treloar involved with Pendlebury. Used Grundy. They're prepared to do that. Use their big man, and a free kick for Cox. Jumper being held against Jamison.
And that's the advantage of winning the ball from the... You put the defence under pressure. And that's Jamison, undersized against big Mason Cox, just trying to outposition him. The only thing he could do was tug on his jumper, grab hold of him in fringe.
They've hit the nail on the head there, Tim. For the first time, Collingwood around a contested ball, those 50-50 balls, managed to win it, clear the ball. You see what happens when you kick it long one-on-one to someone like a Mason Cox.
Well, it was a similar sort of range, really, wasn't it? His first goal, it was at the other end on this ground. He stabs at this one a little, and it's just offline for Mason Cox. 1-1 in his first game against Essendon, and then 2-1 last week in Perth against the West Coast Eagles. But the early signs from Mason Cox have been very encouraging. Looks like he's picking up this footy caper very quickly.
10 inside 50s for Collingwood. They've scored from 7 of them now. Inside Reid goes searching, just knocked away. Crisp around the body, around the corner. Minor score only.
He's been lively. Crisp is up to 9, so only Sidebottom has had more of the ball in Collingwood's team. He's up to 10.
Doherty scores level now. Here's Frost trying to keep the ball inside their attacking area. Well done, Daisy Thomas. Had other ideas. Casbolt missed the footy. Crisp arrived. Good tackle, Gibbs. He got it across to his skipper, who then just coughed the ball up. Pendlebury holding the ball. The advantage, again, a delayed advantage. Allowed. Lamb gets it long. Now wants to draw the man. Sumner's on here. Can give it on to Wright. Gets it there eventually. In the pocket. Squares the ball up. Cruiser had to fist. Didn't have enough on it. Flicked out Armfield's way. Kerridge was over the football. Grundy in there trying to tie it up. And, well, not the prettiest passage of play, but as far as the Blues are concerned, they've got it at the right end of the ground. Scores level, 4-4 apiece.
They did well then. There was a 3-on-1 on the outer side of the ground there, and they were able to close them down, Collingwood.
Again, Cripps, hands and knees, burrowing away, not quite able to get hold of the football. Sidebottom, off to Josh Smith, the 22-year-old, to the wing it goes. Now Rowe knocks it to ground, crashing through Doherty. DNA shoulder to shoulder, no clear win. Long list of injuries for the Pies, and so many new faces with Swan and Ramsey and Elliott, and Goldsack and Varco and Williams and Taylor Adams. Langdon all out, so many getting their opportunities. Kerridge inside, Murphy still with the helmet on. Hasn't lost with it on, so being partially superstitious, he's happy to keep it on while they're winning.
It was a poor kick by him though, Murphy, and that's one of the parts of his game that's been off this season.
The debutant Crocker gives it to Sidebottom. About 30 out. Who's flying for the Pies? Rowe goes to follow up the ball. Sumner had it, went through his legs, able to get it again. Kerridge did well. Fed it out, back into the middle of the ground. Pies, though, suddenly through Maynard, within striking distance to 55. No one at home. Well, you don't even need to look which player it is. You can just listen and hear when Daisy goes near the ball.
Tui inside defensive 50, and gee, that's a good grab. Well done, Andreas Everett.
Curnow, just watching Curnow, he's working really hard off Treloar, like trying to become an offensive weapon, and Treloar's giving him a lot of space.
Contested marks 8-2 in favour of the Blues. Not one taken there. Sumner off the deck, and now Lamb, if it sits for him, it sits perfectly for him. Right, their leading goal scorer this season can draw it over the top. Adelaide Crow to Adelaide Crow. Former Adelaide Crows, of course. Kerridge with the goal.
Hang on, I think there's going to be a review here.
Goal. Just like to see which side of the post it went.
Score review. Umpire scores a goal. We just want to check that it went through the goals.
It's a goal.
It's a goal. Clearly went through the right side, didn't it? Between the big sticks, Peasant.
Didn't appear to brush the post, albeit it's pretty close.
Complete. Confirm goal.
Blues lead by 6 points. And that's all right. They're the toughest ones often for the goal umpire, and I don't mind them calling on the review in that situation. Clearly, you might argue, well, gee, it was a goal. Everyone thought it was a goal, just call it. But those quick ones in, particularly when they bounce very close to the post, can be the tougher ones, so fair enough that he called for it. Right result for the Blues.
In the end, that was just a really smart kick here by Wright, or a handball from Wright, just over the top there. And Kerridge just dribbling it through.
So a couple of goals to the Blues in this term, just the one to the Pies. Blues by 6 points after leading by 2 at quarter time.
You dragged it in.
5-2 the clearances this quarter again to Carlton's favour.
Right back.
It was 10-5 in the first quarter, so they are really dominant. That bloke has been dominant. Look at that. That's just beautiful play, isn't it, from midfielder.
Casbolt, wrong side of Frost, but still in the contest. Second and third efforts, terrific. Off the ground. Heard the umpire. Casbolt involved again, getting to another contest and sort of forcing the issue. Armfield, Kerridge kicked the last. Sidestep, well, hit Walker on the chest, but from about 4 metres. And then the tackles come. Howe and Tuvey ensuring Walker stays put. So 23 inside 50s to 13 in favour of the Blues. Just a 1-goal lead. Murphy tried to feed it back to Doherty. Blair got involved. Curnow too. Murphy again this time. Curnow tries to boot the ball. Did, but didn't get a clear win in the end. And Chris got the footy, but a couple of Blues got him.
Darcy Moore just had the 2 disposals, both handballs, hasn't taken a mark yet.
Grundy, well done. Aish had the football, lost it to Wright, who puts it to a dangerous position. Everett, terrific, but not quite the mark. Lamb now trying to get it to Walker. Great tackle, Reid.
Ball, incorrect disposal. Let him up, your kick. Collingwood kick. Let him go. Straight back on. Don't go forward of that. Come back on.
Well, he had the footy a long time, Everett, but was travelling at a rate of knots, and Lamb felt the Reid tackle, every bit of it. It was an important tackle. Not quite the mark. Tui was up. Treloar, though, handball forward, sold his man into trouble. And Oxley pinged. Kerridge sweating on him every step of the way from the moment he got the football.
When you're wrapped up like that, it's very hard to show that you're trying to make a genuine attempt.
Kerridge's high ball. Casbolt hit the pack hard and at its highest point. Greenwood's clearing kick.
Here's a chance for Tui to send the Blues back into attack. Well, better than that now.
These repeat entries, though, they're putting enormous pressure on the Collingwood defence. And Casbolt almost then taking what we just haven't seen any of the Collingwood forwards at the other end look like they're going to take a mark.
You talk about things that would frustrate a coach. When Bucks can do what he likes, but hard to get a player to do something as silly as that. So Tui to make it 3 for the term for the Blues, not to be. Real let-off for the Pies, and in particular for Alex Fasola.
I reckon that range bothers AFL players, that distance out, more than another 20 metres out.
That's incredible, isn't it? Last 6 inside 50s, the Blues way. His Rowe paddled it well back to Simpson. That was really good. And Rowe back to Simpson again. Then he hooks the ball back inside 50. Tough swirly one, Maynard. Controlled it well. Got the first touch and then wrapped the arms around it. So that's what he's looking at as he brings the ball out. Moore, clever to side bottom, can go quickly to Howe. And then the looping handball forward for Treloar. Good tackle, Curnow.
Right on him.
Stay out, Alex.
Just no separation again. You know, and if you're not sitting somebody like Curnow on Treloar, he's away then, and all of a sudden Collingwood are setting up a goal scoring or a scoring opportunity.
Yeah, it was a shot on goal coming for sure. Curnow, good tackle. Here's Jones. Ditto Frost, who wrapped him up. Good duel so far, those two. So Carlton by 7 points. Inside 50, still a huge gap. 27-13 the Blues way.
Margin only 7 points still. 5-5 to 4-4. Been a lot of holding the balls already this afternoon. Lamb short, heard the umpire, not 15. Murphy kicked a goal in this term earlier on. Walker, he's had a couple of opportunities to do so. Pulled off the football was Matty Wright. Crisp was industrious, aggressive. Everett went low, taken high. Tough one.
No, he's picking the ball up. He's picking the ball up. He's picking the ball up. Andrew, jump out.
Yeah, he's here. Yep, out.
Time back on.
Illegal disposal, mate. can't speak in this ear. I can't hear.
No, I don't think he did. It was a high.
He's down picking the ball up and he's been...
I've got a few conversations going on. It wasn't the Pendlebury conversation we're hearing a lot of. Meanwhile, Everett kicks another one for the Blues.
And he's hit high. The duty of care is on the tackler. You just can't hit him high, mate. He's down picking the ball up. Okay.
So that was the other conversation, wasn't it? And it continues. Ben Ryan and Adam Treloar. That was away from the ball, and well, all of that seemed a very self-explanatory answer to it. It's unlucky as it is. High contact, isn't it?
Well, here's the free kick.
Here we go. Time to leave, boys.
His head down. Just an arm there, Jeremy Howes. Too high.
Last 9 inside 50s to the Blues. And they're starting to exert the sort of dominance on the scoreboard that it's felt like they've been exerting during the game. Well done, Cox to Blair. Side bottom, Howe. They need to lift now, the Magpies. Moore pushed off the football. Rowe fairly, said the umpire. And Rowe takes it on quickly. Across to Daisy.
Without that body strength yet, Moore, I mean, his best chance is getting a run and a jump at the ball. Rowe's going to do him every time when it's a high ball like that, and he's got that type of positioning.
Simpson to Doherty to Curnow. They're right on top now, the Blues, aren't they? And Kerridge has got some space. Heard Reid sweating on him, goes back and wins the football, realising his error. Maynard was tackling. Everett turned back into trouble. Could have gone directly towards goals, and that is pinged for deliberate.
Over the boundary.
Against Gibbs.
He should have taken that mark, Kerridge, but it also highlighted the difference between the two sides. Carlton were out then if he'd taken that mark, and there's only been a few occasions when Carlton has had time to set up that Collingwood really has been able to find a player in transition.
Mark's there. Move it on.
So Reid, long ball, Rowe, thumped the football away. Chance now for Cripps, gets taken to ground by Greenwood and then sat on by Treloar.
Even again in that spoiling act there by Rowe, he just moved more off the ball far too easily. Like the kid, he's just young. He doesn't have the frame yet of a seasoned AFL player. But that's one of the problems they got this afternoon.
Side bottom, quick kick on the left. Well, left behind by Plowman, might get a second opportunity. Does. Little give to Jamison, intercepted by White. Doherty amongst all of that. There goes Darcy Moore. Blair ducks and weaves, comes back inside. Clever from Blair. He's a good kick of the football. He's got one for the Pies.
That's a great goal.
That did a lot before he kicked it, didn't he?
He did an awful lot before he kicked it. And we were critical of him a couple of weeks ago when we saw him play because he didn't play anywhere near his best ability, and he's been a defensive genius at his best, applying pressure. I thought he started to get a little bit more form last week against the West Coast Eagles. He was more noticeable in that game, and at this stage, I think he's been one of their better players too. Had 7 contested possessions. Here's all they work. Moore gets the ball off the carpet, gives it to Blair. Gets around the first player, and gee, there wasn't much in that, but it did just enough to avoid the upright.
So only 14 inside 50s for the Magpies, but 9 scores. So depending on which way you look at it, it's not too bad. A high efficiency rate, and here's another one coming, Pendlebury, but he missed Greenwood. Probably should have gone himself, the skipper. Blair for a couple in a row, for Solo for his 3rd. And the Magpies have got the last 2, and it's a 1-point ball game. Just like that, and a little bit of magic from Pendlebury. That
Blair involved again too, doesn't it?
Fluid movement from Pendlebury. Hard man to tackle. Probably should have gone long himself. And Blair involved again, as Tim said. For Solos, kick 3.
That's like shelling peas for Solo.
Loves it, doesn't he?
There it is. There's the Blair pickup, the handball. Just a quick look, a spin, and a completion.
Sharpshooter is in his. So Fasolo has 3, and the Blues Just a 1-point lead now. It was as high as 15.
Collingwood.
Wind discomfort. Not sure what he's landed on, but he's buckled over, still at half-back. Meanwhile, Josh Smith works it forward, wanted to go. Simpson got involved a couple of times in the end. Curnow wheels around, now to Rowe, through the middle. Well, he thought about it, and then back down the boundary line he goes. Doherty, standing start. Liam Jones gets the set, big fly, second. Grab wasn't quite there for Solo at half-back for the moment. Tuvey, now Josh Smith again, through the middle. Just held off Jamison. White pushed under it. Jamison goes back and gets the football. Blair, he's been involved in the last 2 minutes in plenty of the play. Chance now for Byrne, off the ground, tackled, lost the football, side bottom, back inside, Treloar. Cruiser almost got him. Blair again, wonderful side step. Now Treloar normally uses it well, not 15, the umpire said. Pendlebury back inside. Smith, Casbolt the tackler. Underneath all that right. Greenwood off the left boot. Byrne, exit, stage left. Here go the Blues.
Everett to Murphy, well called home. Long ball, and Howe drifting back, takes the mark. It was a not 15 that was not called not 15 last night. It looked a similar distance. Here's Pendlebury, runs to the 50. He kicks long for the square. It's just offline. And it is all tied up, 41 apiece. Collingwood have been awoken from their slumber.
So all locked up again. The Pies have only been in front for 2 minutes of the afternoon. That was after the Fasolo goal. Since then, the Blues have dominated so much of the afternoon, but not on the scoreboard. Sumner taken over by Tuvey.
Gee, Blair's been good in the last 10 minutes, hasn't he? Real energy around the contest.
Energy is the right word with Blair. When he's up and about, he's darting about the place, dancing and weaving and feeding his teammates. There he is, looking on for the moment, but still keen to get involved. Last two of the afternoon to the Pies, 3 each in this term. Murphy, Kerridge and Everett. For Solo, a couple, and Blair. Treloar had so much of the football throughout this season. 12 for the afternoon. Blair again, full stretch, got the footy, dragged it back in, somehow got it wide for Solo. Handball, found Jones, he couldn't control it. Curnow, Sumner, well, off the wrong side of the boot, back inside. Side bottom, first man there, gets away from Kerridge. Clever little sidestep, ball wanting for Solo. Sumner taken high.
Just a bit of heavy treatment after he got rid of that one.
That lack of discipline really hurts Collingwood. Carlton put Simpson behind the ball, just try and stabilise their defence, which is why Sidebottom didn't have anyone to go to when he was coming out of half-back there.
Sidebottom to Howe, to Maynard, who went pretty casually there, just the one arm out, was all right. Now Greenwood in best position, he's got two to beat. He grabs the footy and Tui then released his arm, should have held onto the arm, and Moore tries to get away from his taller opponent. Doherty comes out hard at the football and Tui gets another go at it here. So out of side, drives the ball towards half forward. Where are the Flyers? Man in the middle. Not paid the mark. Cripps finds the footy again. Gives it across there to Lamb. Now Kerridge. Back to Cripps. Just waits. Looks. Tui. Cripps again. Down the line. Finds Everett. At 85 from home. It's a high ball. Camped under it for a long time was Sumner, and the fist came. Tuvey and also for Solo, and they get it over. So Buckley on the left, Bolton on the right. Brendan Bolton,
Let him run.
very efficient as a coach. His organisational skills, one of his great strengths, and we're seeing it from the Blues in defence. Everett runs onto it and kicks the goal. Fantastic out of the ruck. That's a nice way to kick your second. So Andreas Everett just read that perfectly, didn't he? The old set play, cruiser down his throat, silver service goal.
He's probably, if you're a Collingwood player and you're looking around at that stoppage, he's probably the player you're least expecting that the ball's going to be directed to, or he's the one that's going to run onto it. But Smart play.
Set up, Mace.
Well, here's the stoppage again. There's Cruiser getting in front. Just a nice tap down. And in the end, a pretty simple finish there to Everett.
We go.
One of the 4 inclusions for the Blues. 4 years with the Dogs, 3 years with the Swans. Second year as the Blue last year, 9th in the best and fairest. And fair to say it was his best season, finished with 31 for the year. Broomhead quickly, Pendlebury. The outer side, now side bottom. Onto the left again. Doesn't bother him which side. Went looking for Crocker. First gamer. Simpson got there first. Well, Byrne and De Goey collided. Byrne did well. Got it to the skipper. He was taken late.
Sully spoke about Simpson being that spare player, and that's what you want the spare player to do, to be able to read the play quickly like Simpson did and disrupt that play.
Howe read it so much better in the air. Used his body well. Now for Solo. Low ball has White leading to the football. One late in the first term. Hasn't been seen too much in this second term. Now Aish. Low ball is on Grundy. Rowe closes. Well done.
I was going to say, you haven't called Aish's name too many times. He's only had 2 disposals back into the side this afternoon, so they'll be looking for him to have more of an impact than what we've seen from him so far.
That was the 50. Ben Crocker late on Murphy.
Cruiser again, good ruck work, and then got it back from Pendlebury, who stole it back again, and then cleverly to Fasola. Not a lot of room to work in there, and the mark off Plowman's knee, I reckon. So did the boundary umpire. Let's have another look, and yep, bounced out of the breadbasket. So again, Cruiser up in front. Treloar got his way out of that pack cleverly. Chris back to Howe. For Solo, 3 goals already. High ball, top of the square. Flyers don't really come. Here's the first game of Crocker. Handball to Treloar. Treloar across the face and to behind.
What Cox did just then is exactly what you want your big guy to do, and that is, if he can't mark the ball, to make sure it doesn't go over the back and just palm it gently to the front.
It really feels like Carlton are starting to tire out here now. They're getting led to the ball that last passage of play. Their intensity around the contest isn't as high as it was earlier. They really need this half-time break to get here quickly.
Hold there, Braden.
Well, Casbolt now has become arguably one of the best contested marks in the game, if not the best. And he's looking confident in the air, isn't he? He's been about the place all afternoon. So 3 minutes before the long break, and the Pies, who did lead by a goal early on, have trailed by 15. Blues by 5 points now. Frost amongst a couple of Blues. Well done, Lamb. Kept it in. Got boot to ball. Side bottom got his hand on the ball as it was being kicked at.
I expected that maybe Grundy would have been able to jump over Cruiser and around him, but really at this stage, to half-time almost, Cruiser's had the better of him and has done more around the ground too than Grundy.
So Cruiser just left it behind in the end. Cripps delighted with the outcome. Right, Murphy over the left shoulder. Casbolt again.
He's brave in the air though, isn't he?
Right
Crashes the pack.
Yeah, he was just running with the fly of the ball there.
Levi, come around, 2 metres, please.
Fourth contested mark for the afternoon.
He's been dobbing these at training on this angle. He's 10 out of 10 at training on this angle. What are you laughing at?
No, Mr. 100%.
I've already marked it down.
Well, just happy to put it to a dangerous spot. Nothing doing though. No Blues at all. Oxley and Maynard discussed it. Oxley happy to take the footy. So nothing kick in the end after a terrific grab. Blues by 5. Jeremy Howe played so much here as a Demon, starting to find his groove as a Magpie. Crocker knocked it down. Broomhead, Cox. Now to Crocker. Feeds it inside to Goey. Crocker will get it again. The 19-year-old, low ball. Well, player out of position. Doherty to Thomas.
So Thomas goes sideways. Oh, dangerous. Tui collected by Broomhead.
High and 50. Cade, you've got the 50. Don't lose it, okay?
I think Broomhead's come off second best here. Credit to Tui. He bounced straight up.
Broomhead's left ankle, isn't it?
Yeah.
And winded as well, I reckon, Haim. He landed on the flat of his back, but the ankle clearly giving him some concern. Tui, meanwhile, with less than 2 minutes to play. Everett, who's been busy with a couple of goals. Armfield now inside 50, and Sumner. Well, you feel like the Blues deserve around a 2-goal lead at half-time. The Magpies fought their way back in. Sumner with the 8 disposals this afternoon.
15 gone.
He's kicked a goal already. Good player. It's been a handy pickup. Two goals a couple of weeks ago against the Western Bulldogs. One last week against Essendon. Won't be a goal this time, but Levi.
Come down, mate. Come down.
Oh, his marking has been so good today. Now, what about the distance, Tim?
No, he's got the distance covered, and the accuracy will be no problem at all for him.
Remarkable, their 8th mark inside 50s for Carlton, and Collingwood are yet to actually get one.
Yeah, no, they've had nothing going their way at the other end of the ground. Surely, you're quite right. But they've got to start to actually do something with this guy flying.
No doubt here?
No doubt at all.
20th contested mark. It deserves a goal, and Levi Casbolt delivers. That's 2. And the Blues out to an 11-point lead. The sort of lead they probably deserved at half-time. 11 seconds left on the clock.
If you think about every mark he's taken so far this afternoon, he hasn't really been he hasn't had a Collingwood player that's been side by side with him, muscling him, trying to shift him off the line of the ball. Like, he's had a fairly free run at it, even though they've been contested in the air by the time he's got there. That's great for him to get that result, though, too, isn't it? I know they've been reasonably easy ones, but for his confidence, that's something that he can really build on, because he's got everything together in the air.
It's like the golfer draining the 2-foot putt who's having problems with the putter, just to see it roll in. Big fillip for Casbolt, his second for the afternoon. At half-time, the Blues will lead by 11 points. We'll speak with Steele Sidebottom in a moment, but the Blues had a lot of the football. 11 points, not the biggest margin of the match so far. They did lead by 15, but Casbolt's marking, as you say, Tim, been impressive, and he's been flying into packs rather than starting in them. Yeah,
no, he's tremendously brave in the air, running with the fly of the ball too. So of all the big guys on the ground, he's been the most effective in the first half.
1897 to 1899. First 7 games between the Blues and the Magpies, all 7 were Collingwood's way, and that was the last time they were able to string 7 in a row together against the old enemy. Simpson then from the wing, high ball inside 50, and easy as you like for Levi Casbolt, who's catching everything. Hope no one's got the flu out there.
Just great body work early against Reid too, then just out-positioned him, out-muscled him, and then pretty much a simple mark in the end. But we've already sung his praises at half-time. The dominant big man on the ground in the first half.
And 2 straight this afternoon. What inaccuracy problems. And this is the sort of distance that he can kick through the footy. Those inaccuracy problems.
It's actually up in here.
It becomes energy sapping. The midfielders work so hard to get the ball down there, and they've just got little confidence in their forwards at the moment being able to convert.
Move it on.
Well, Sully was 3 goals, 6 from 15 set shots coming in today, and 6 out of bounds on the full, so he's added another to that.
Thank you, Dale.
Well, he's going to get another look here too, Hammer.
Yep.
This is coming back in his territory.
Move it on. Play on.
So Kieran Byrne, the Irishman, who as always
He's going to get a run at it again.
has his socks pulled right up this time. Knocked away by Reid, Treloar, De Goey. Not great communication, ran into each other. In the end, the ball was spilt in the Fasolo direction. Now Pendlebury, nothing really in front of him. Happy just to hold on to it for now. Over the top, Mason Cox did well. Lovely kick from the skipper, and he just dropped back into the falling ball. Jamison watches on as Cox sends it in the right direction, and well, the big man's taken a grab. Kicked a goal in the latter stages of the first term from about the same spot.
And that sheer hammer, that's the first mark inside their attacking 50 for the game, Collingwood. For the game, either a tall or a small.
Extraordinary, isn't it? It was 8-0 at half-time. So White looking for his second and trying to narrow the margin to 5 points. Kicks it perfectly. Well done. Straight through the middle. So White gets his second. Pies get their 7th. The Carlton lead now just 5 points. Early going third term. And White, who has played his fair share of football this year in the VFL, gets his second run for the ones, and he gets his second goal. So where does he fit best? Half back, half forward? We'll find out.
It's actually a very relaxed kicking style that he has, but they got the ball really easily into their forward line then. And he got that one-on-one contest, which really benefited him.
So Magpies with the opening goal of the second half to get it back to less than a goal. Grundy did well. Gibbs over the football, long time.
That's better from Grundy too. We didn't see that in the first half. He got way above Cruiser then and just pushed the ball forward. It wasn't a great hit to advantage of his ground level players, but they got momentum from the stoppage.
The Blues had kicked the last two of the opening half. His side bottom. Maynard. High ball inside 50. Crocker just got away from him at the last moment. Rowe now. Greenwood there. Simpson taken front on. Cross to face to Jamison. Need to play it carefully here. Byrne, well done. Took them on. Split the middle. Murphy. Plowman. Over the top to Sumner. It came from Curnow. Good football by the Blues.
Walker, full stretch. Frost did enough. Now the ball in dispute. Murphy and Penderbury. A couple of skippers run into each other at the MCG. Little one from Smith. Back inside. Crisp. Frost. Now threading it through Tuvey. Bouncing ball for De Goey. Wasn't delivered as he would have liked. Gave it up in the end. Cripps. Blues are away through the middle. Jones and Cripps again. A bounce to 55. To 50 after a second bounce. Back inside. Threads it through. Murphy on the left boot. Well done, the skipper. Everett, 15 out. Nice passage of play, but the Pies shouldn't have given up on the wing. Poor handball. Bouncing ball for De Goey.
It was a poor handball to De Goey.
Called Everett. It's Lamb.
There it is now.
The problem with myself, I was staring straight at Lamb and called Everett.
There was a poor handball to De Goey, but he actually took his eye off the ball at a critical stage then too.
So Lamb hasn't troubled the scorers yet this afternoon. Kicks it really well. Back out to 11 points. So Jed Lamb, he had an interesting first year at the Swans and played 12 games, 9 goals, and then GWS for a couple of years and came across in that four-way deal where Stephen Silvani handpicked a few. Plowman and Phillips and Sumner and Jed Lamb, all Blues now. It's his first for the afternoon.
Jed Lamb with a goal, so a goal apiece in this third quarter. And again, the intrigue, it continues to build. Pendlebury, Treloar, Maynard bursting off half-back, ran into the Casbolt tackle, side bottom. Went one way, defensively first, then attacking, and a brilliant kick to Moore, who honours him with the hands.
Well, this is better, isn't it? We've got 2 marks in the last 5 minutes from their key forwards. He's got to go back and nail this Darcy Moore. I think Sidebottom has eyes in the back of his head. Oh. He is amazing in traffic,
remarkable, wasn't it?
15 gone. Jump to it, Sam, not over.
Like he's got the parking sensors, Tim.
Yes.
Doesn't need his eyes, just feels his way through it. Now, Darcy Moore hasn't kicked a goal this afternoon. This to lift the Magpies. That's a beautiful finish, and it's back to 5 points.
And that's the first time we've really seen any of their key forwards get separation from the defender. And it was all brought about because of the great work by Sidebottom. Often you see a player in that situation when there's players around them, they just give off an instinctive handball. And what they generally do is put someone else under pressure. But he just summarised everything with his inbuilt trip computer. That's a good win there in the first place by Maynard. But then just watch this. All that action around him. Everybody goes to the outlet-type players. He hangs onto it and then finishes it. Brilliant play.
Well, Casbolt into the middle now against Grundy. Little kick forward to Goey. Doherty a part of his back six. The youngster, Ben Crocker, just making him earn the football. 19-year-old, vice-captain of Vic Metro. Captain of the Oakley Chargers, grew up barracking for the Pies, and his dream comes true this afternoon. Thomas, he's been jeered since he left the Pies, and he'll continue to be jeered whenever he plays them. So Armfield quickly moves it on. Here's a great opportunity, this time Gibbs.
Bryce.
That was a great mark there by Armfield under real pressure. This is a good bit of balking here by Daisy, and then just kicking it to the advantage there of Armfield.
Okay, that's the 15 gone.
But then the next bit of that play was to move the ball on really quickly, and that's when you're going to find some space and some players who've actually just drifted into
Move it on.
high percentage positions.
5-3 for the year so far. Nothing for the afternoon. This to punch it out to 11 points again. All but 5 minutes of this match. The margin's been under 2 goals. It's still under 2 goals, but it's out to 11 points.
Well, it's not the same sort of intrigue that we had last week, hey, Essendon and Carlton. That was a complicated beast in its own ways, but, well, this is a very interesting match, isn't it? Carlton have had the upper hand for most of the game, but Collingwood have kept it close enough.
The momentum shift Collingwood's way has only really been temporary, though, hasn't it? In
each time
2 and a bit quarters of footy. These centre bounces become so critical.
So goal for goal in this third term. And again, it gets harder and harder to pick the winner. Sidebottom. Gibbs. Sidebottom's lost the football, and I think it ended up in Gibbs' hands.
I don't know whether Grundy took some jumping beans at half-time, but he's clearly getting off the ground better in the second half than the first. There he goes again. I reckon he's won 4 of the 5.
Down to Goey's throat, who sends a high ball towards the wing. Aish, rarely sighted in the opening half. Handball, not a good one. It just sat up for Gibbs, and Gibbs looks upfield. He's got the skipper on in Murphy, who can play on quickly to Casbolt. He's got space also, right breaking for him, and now 50.
Inside the protected area.
Now, they've been hotter on that today, or have there just been more incidents of it, do you think, Tim?
Within 2 metres. Just here.
I was just listening to the umpire's explanation there.
Standing there with a taped wrist.
It wasn't Howe then, it was the other Collingwood player.
He was miles away from Murphy.
Sorry, boys, just to jump in here. Broomhead's just hobbled from the ground. We saw he had that ankle injury earlier in the second quarter. We saw him run a couple of laps up and down the boundary line before, but he's just headed down the race as well to get that assessed.
Now, there's good news and bad news depending on where you sit. Levi Casbolt has got the free kick and the 50. It's a dangerous distance for Levi. He floats it the wrong side of the post. 2 goals, 1 this afternoon. Not his first blemish, though. There's been an out of bounds on the full for 5 goals, 7 this season.
So they continue to hit the scoreboard, the Blues, but the Pies, well, they're within striking distance. Just a couple of goals in arrears. They've been only in front, Collingwood, for a couple of minutes in this match. A couple of times they've got the scores level again. Howe flies over the top of Lamb. Short ball on, this time to the skipper in front of Casbolt. Just on Casbolt, what must he be thinking when he's lining up for goals?
Hold Zach.
Well, the little man of indecision's inside his head now, isn't he?
and speaking loud noises, sadly. Doing so much right. Here's a chance for the Blues. Tui over the top, weighted ball. The running Sumner, well done. Now it's about the finish. He's be 25 or so when he kicks the footy out from the city end of the MCG. Has won for the afternoon. This to make it a game-high lead, 18 points. Previous high, 15 points. As we said, the Pies have got the margin back.
15 gone.
A couple of times to an even ledger. Sumner. From the Giants to the Blues. Oh, it's contagious.
Oh dear. You know the old cover of the mouth then?
Didn't work.
He's not confident.
Not a cough.
No, he's not as mild-mannered now as he was when he was caretaker coach of the Hawks, that's for sure.
That's a horrendous kick too. Shanked that.
So the skills have really fallen away to start this third term. Rowe pops it up, Reid in front, and again not a good kick.
You know, Walker's only had 2 touches. He's had 2 shots at goal. Both of them have been behinds. I reckon it might be a time now to just push him up the field a bit and just get him into the game. And we know that, you know, he's played some really quality football further up the ground. Might be just nice for him just to go for a bit of a run.
7-6 from set shots today. The Blues have been very inaccurate. Greenwood, De Goey, got it to Treloar, and now Pendlebury. A little bit of class in the middle. Smith, Aish. Clever ball from Blair to White. Now they can attack. This was always the danger for the Blues. So much of the football at one end. Good tackle. Crocker brought to ground by Doherty. No free kick, and White runs away. Ball for Aish, too much on it. And Simpson just gathers the ball inside defensive 50 and thumps it out to a contest.
Holding. You. Yours. Your kick. Side. Side. Collingwood kick. Stay there. Kick's on that way. It's Jen. It's his free kick for a hold. I've signalled the wrong way. So straight back. Mark's here. Straight back. I've signalled the wrong way. Time back on.
Funny thing about that is it wasn't obviously wrong to anyone at the ground because nobody knew what the free kick was for.
Thumping ball inside 50. Rowe, White, both flew. Rowe got a fist onto it, knocked it to ground. Cripps goes hard at the footy. Doherty comes away with the football through traffic. Did well. Out to Lamb by hand. Lamb gets rid of the tackler. Back inside to Kerridge. And now off a step to the wing. Nothing doing for the Blues. It'll skip into the hands of Reid. Slaps it back to Frost. Murphy will close. Frost got the kick away to half forward. Back to Doherty. Well done, Crocker. Got there late. Forced the issue. Got hold of the footy. And what looked to be a good thing for Doherty was spoilt by the debutant.
Reid's been so good for Collingwood back. It'd be a real luxury if they could actually send him forward and try and take a mark inside 50. But because Carlton's forwards are marking as well as they are, Collingwood can't afford to do that right now.
It was interesting by Cox. Out of the air it came Wright's way, who tried to kick down the line, and Reid marks. Again a floater for Maynard. He's got the footy, defensive edge of the square. So the Magpies just looking to build with some fluency. Smith here. Been a funny old turn, hasn't it, that Reid...
It's a good point that Sully makes. Under circumstances like this, they might be tempted to shift him forward, but they can't afford to do it in this game.
Carlton by 13 points. Cox, White, Cox again, Cruiser there. White did well, really well, out of the pack, but it's offline.
That's what he's capable of doing. He's actually an athletic player that can pick up a ground ball and can just push his way through congestion. You'd just like to see him play with that type of urgency and aggression a bit more often.
Move it on. Play on.
196 centimetres, over 100 kilos. He can do some damage, but at the moment, battling to hold his spot in this Collingwood lineup.
Play on you.
And where he's best positioned seems to be uncertain. There you go, Cripps, Kerridge, Wright. A couple of former Crows combined, not for the first time today. This is Everett, just on 50, a little bit of a fumble. Howe waits back inside, bouncing ball, taken by Armfield. How does it sit? Okay, gives it off. Gibbs. He gets another. Got 2 for the afternoon. In fact, got back-to-back goals now for Carlton, and it is a game-high lead, 18 points.
I think all game, if you contrast the two teams in their ability to move the ball in general play, Carlton have looked to have moved the ball a lot. They haven't had the finish at the end of it, but in terms of being able to get the ball from one end of the ground to the other and opening up attacking spaces, well, he's got some work to do. He knows it, and he's going to the phone again. This is getting to a dangerous stage of the third term now, with the lead blowing out to 18 points.
3 even goals is the lead for the Blues. If Collingwood were to lose today, it would be their worst start to a season since they were 1-6 back in 2005. So a long time since they've been at this sort of situation early in the season. Curnow, brilliant. Murphy got his handball away. Waiting for it, Thomas.
Dropped it.
Yeah, tackle maybe dispossessed him. Right, clever handball. Gibbs is the hot man out on the ground at the moment. And here's Cripps. Runs towards the 50. Measures the kick. Not a good one, though.
It was a shame then the Collingwood defender actually read the ball better than the Carlton forwards. Cripps just placed it where he thought it was going to be to the advantage of a Carlton player, but they didn't pick up the cues.
It was Cripps to Crisp. Maybe that's why they didn't pick up the cues, Tim. Not easy to decipher.
So Reid just for territory to the outer side. Moore did well. Just held off Tui. Got hands on it initially. Followed it up. Second and third grab required, but did the job. Crocker underneath all of that. Rowe holds him up. Holds the ball to the rookie.
Just your own player.
This is where Carlton have been so good, not allowing any free-flowing ball for Collingwood coming out of their back half. Defensively, they've been stopping the outlets really well.
So Crocker, Josh Smith, Mason Cox, 3 of the 4 debutants for the Pies, all playing out there this afternoon. Matthew Goodyear the other. Watching on today, Goodyear. Cox beaten to it by Kerridge in the end as he battled Cruiser. Now to space. Casbolt, big collision this time with Reid. Reid goes down holding his head. Kerridge has the footy. Smith the tackle. Somehow out to right again. They combine. The former teammates again. Now what can Cripps do? Not too much. Howe was always there. And just bottom of your screen, Reid still in trouble.
Jeremy.
He's groggy, isn't he?
Crab walking across the MCG, not able to put one foot in front of the other.
It's like head on head, wasn't it?
Oh.
And a bit of shoulder in there too.
Grundy. Well done, though, by Thomas, but the handball was blanketed cleverly by Treloar, and it came Sidebottom's way. Now Pendlebury. The Magpies' best players around the football. Doherty up one-handed, got the footy on the ground. Greenwood tackled him, and don't think it'll get out of there.
The Sidebottom had 20 to half time. He's only had 3 in this third term. Every time he touches the ball, it looks like something's going to happen as we see Reid just making his way across the ground to the bench.
His left arm doesn't look good there, the way he was carrying it. Smith to Goey.
Oh.
Terrible handball back to Maynard. Jones got him very close to holding the ball. Grundy paddled it out and it went as far as right. Stolen back by De Goey. Pendlebury's kick for the middle of the ground, and Blair dropped the mark. Burn taken without the footy.
Blair wasn't to know, but that kick was intended for Reid behind him.
Reid still feeling the top of that left arm, He doesn't look good.
No, and he's running after Burn now and can't move it. He's going to come straight to the bench, so more problems now for the Magpies.
That's a real problem, because we were talking about that before, about the fact they couldn't afford to lose him from the back 6 and put him at the other end of the ground. Now they've lost him for a while because of injury.
And not to mention Broomhead as well. Now, he has come back up, but he's just sat down. He hasn't made any movements whatsoever. Coming off the back of a 6-day break. Things aren't looking good for Collingwood.
Trouble keeps knocking on the door. Gibbs has 3. And he's got 3 in a row. One at the 9-minute mark, one at the 17, and now one at the 21st minute of this third term. Gibbs out to 24 points, and the Pies have got issues.
It's like the Bee Gees.
This has just turned into a shocking afternoon in about 7 minutes for the Magpies.
Yeah, it has. Well, they've threatened at different stages. There's another stoppage. We saw one at the other end of the ground there. Just Cripps just smart play over the top.
3 consecutive goals for Bryce Gibbs. 16 disposals. And it's the last 3 goals of the game to the Blues. Grundy back to Blair. Just can't get the ball moving forward with any fluency. And even that, a high ball that was touched. Pendlebury went in and got it. Kicks towards half forward. Crocker's having a real dip, the young man, in his first game. Ball forward again now. Walker. Side bottom. Dispossessed him. Crocker in hard. Tui. And no free. Ben Crocker, 4th Magpie to debut this year. Picked 65 in the 2015 National Draft. He told his mum on Thursday he was picked for his debut. It was on her birthday. A few tears from mum. Nice little Mother's Day present a couple of days out.
Frost, Jones. Jones, in the end, did enough. Just knocked it to Everett. Now Gibbs, who's kicked the last 3 of the match, back to Kerridge. All hemmed in, the Blues, but still seem to have time. Well, confident Carlton outfit now. They had that narrow win against the Dockers. They beat the Bombers last week. And now Casbolt's hitting targets from 60 metres. Plowman back inside to Everett. And this to make it 4 in a row to the Blues.
They've really opened up Collingwood now. This is becoming a procession. That's a really smart kick there by Casbolt, just to open up the outside. And
1 metre. There it is. Straight back from there now.
Collingwood are just trailing them all over the ground.
That's 15 gone.
they look tired now, don't they, Sully?
They really do. I mean, 2 6-day breaks, and throw a Perth game in there as well. It's really hard to articulate how hard that is, particularly on a young side.
Hold there, Adam. You're on it. Hold.
31 last year for Everett. 4 in a row to the Blues. And this game's blown out to 5 goals. For so much of this game, it was under 12 points. A couple of times the Pies had got things back to square, but since the 9-minute mark of this term, it has been all Carlton. 3 to Bryce Gibbs, now 1 to Andreas Everett. A 30-point lead to Carlton, searching for their 3rd win in a row. First time they've done that, if they can do it, since late 13.
And they may be able to do something they haven't done in 16 games, and that's score 100 points too. They're only 15 points off that Carlton now. So one of those blokes there has got major concerns.
Average games in favour of Carlton today, average of 97 to 68, and Collingwood with 12 players less than 50 games today. Carlton just the 6 players with less than 50. Despite all of that, the Magpies started favourites today, but it is unravelling for this young, injury-hit Magpies team. Tuvey, more! Great mark!
And that is his sweet spot. When he can get a run and a jump at the... Look at that. Got a run, jump, no body against him at all. There's Rowe in front just saying, OK, exactly where do you want me to position myself so you can trample all over me?
Look at his swagger as he walks back here too.
Yeah. He could be on a Milan catwalk.
He's kicked 1 this afternoon. Now for the model finish. Bangs it through. It's back to 4 goals. And that's all very well, isn't it, Tim? When there's no one around.
Yeah.
But the reality is in AFL football, there's not going to be too many times the key forward's going to get an unencumbered run at the ball.
Not like that. And that's when he's at his absolute best. He's a kid still. You know, like he's in his 2nd year of footy. He still doesn't have the frame really to be able to compete with the big-bodied defenders of the competition. There's the jump. Beautiful, clean landing. And he means business.
Blue steel.
Had the look about him that he was going to do something serious. Kicks his 2nd, 9-2 for the year. Back to 4 goals. Blues and the Pies at the G. The skipper. Little give in the end to Lamb. Hurriedly to half forward. Foot race is on. Armfield. He's a speedster, but the ball just went back over his head. Knocked it down. From White to Treloar. Pulling the ball to Moore. Kick the last. Wheels onto the right boot. Goes searching. Puts it in front of a leading forward. That's for Solo. And that was outstanding.
There were 3 great parts to that. The first was the way that Jesse White actually met the ball. He's gone back now to cover for the loss of Reed. And then their play on, they move the ball really quickly and kick to advantage.
15 gone.
So Fasolo got the first goal of the afternoon, has 3, now has, well, will it get there? I think it's got everything. Fasolo's got 4, back to 3 goals. So just when the Blues were thinking things were going pretty neatly, 2 quick goals to the Pies. Moore and Fasolo late in this third term. That will frustrate Brendan Bolton.
Don't you like to see big guys do what Darcy Moore just did then? He rolled on straight away. There's Fasolo just having a bit of a conversation there.
You like that, Darcy Moore just rolling onto the right boot, thumping it forward, not giving the defenders a chance?
Well, it's brilliant. I mean, the defenders just don't get set.
So Alex Fasolo, 14 goals before this afternoon. Another 4 here now to make it 18 for the year. A bag of 6 against Richmond in round 2. And 4 against Essendon in round 5. And they've made it interesting again, the Magpies. Lamb, though, gets the ball from Gibbs. Forward again, the Blues. Tuvey well played against Walker. Held the handball. Back to Cox. Now to De Goey. Cruiser. Well done, Crocker, who just got in there, caused a bit of an issue. Free kick.
Straight back. Allen, move out. Play on. Pause.
So Jones, high ball towards the square. Everett outnumbered Howe, just fisting across the line.
Why do you take that, Mark Howe? He got 2 hands. Tudi's got a good pair of scratches. I don't know why he wouldn't have taken it.
21 scoring shots to 17. Actually 21 with an asterisk, couple of out of bounds on the full to Levi. Blues by 19, did lead by 30 at 4 or 5 minutes ago. Last 2 of the afternoon to the Pies, Moore and Fasolo.
Push, Collingwood.
Since they got that 5-goal lead too, there's just been another level of urgency that's been applied to the Collingwood game. Now, whether they can maintain it, because we haven't seen them maintain it for long enough this afternoon, but right now it's there.
Carlton. Same thing as what happened there, mate. Switch, stay there, Vinny. Yep.
Plenty of conversations out in the middle of the G. Mason Cox just having things explained to him. So Kieran Byrne goes to a one-on-one. Armfield and Maynard. Clever slap down for Solo. Just works his way through traffic. Back into safe hands. Pendlebury. Who's he got running past? Time. Still plenty of it. 30 seconds. Side bottom. Threads it through to De Goey. De Goey. 55 from home. Long to the square. Grundy Rowe, who's running by. Kieran Byrne will get there first. He's gone to ground. He's going to make an effort.
If you're a Collingwood fan, you're loving the ball being in Pendlebury's hands or side bottom's hands. I mean, you feel safe, you feel secure that the right decision is going to be made.
Mason Cox tried to knock it back inside. Treloar was on the end of
knocked out.
The tap at Curnow. And Mark Murphy around the place. Murphy tries to go back to defend. In the end, Cruiser hurriedly into Jones's hands. And after some anxious moments, if you're a Blues supporter, a 19-point lead is maintained at three-quarter time. Looked better a few minutes ago. It was 30. Big last term coming up. The Pies and the Blues at the G. The Blues by 19 at the last break.
Headed back to the other end of the ground now.
Two big clubs, two fierce rivals, 30 minutes of footy, 4 points up for grabs. The Blues by 19. There's that youngster again, Cripps. Did well, knocked it in the Plowman direction, and then he's got problems. Curnow's got 3 or 4 Pies attacking him.
On the ball, illegal disposal. Advantage, Collingwood.
Heard the umpire, Greenwood's taken full advantage.
Gee, glad he kicked it because it was a fluky advantage at best, wasn't it?
That's an aggressive start, though, isn't it, to the final term?
Suddenly just 13 points not so long ago after the Everett goal. It was a 30-point margin. Moore and Fasolo goals to finish the third term. Greenwood a goal to start the last.
This was just a really aggressive tackle here by a couple of the Collingwood players, forcing the free kick. That's not an easy snap for that distance out.
Perfect start for the Magpies. 19.3 quarter lead, down to 13 points, and it only took 30 seconds. Forward again, De Goey. Simpson got his boot to ball. Gibbs. Handball's in the wrong direction. Simpson gets it from Kerridge and then looks down the line towards the wing. Thomas up in front, the ball fisted away.
I was looking for Jesse White at the start of that quarter, and he's actually out on the wing, so he and Murphy are opposed on the outer wing.
Good news for Collingwood. Reed's back up. He's been doing some laps up here on the boundary line. Looks like he's ready to go again.
Thanks, Brad. Brad Sewell on the boundary. We've got a whistle here. Carlton's free.
This is where Jesse White has to be aware that now he's playing on Murphy.
Back on, stay there, Brody.
He contested that clearance.
So free kick against Grundy goes Cruz's way. The high ball right to the 50. Tuvey up in front, double-fisted. Maynard, Pendlebury, side bottom. Treloar, it had too much on it. It's coming back the other way. Curnow. Cripps, his kick was smothered. Simpson, brilliant, hard at the football. Gets a little kick forward, right. Curnow, Gibbs, Maynard. Got him, stopped him in his tracks. And then Cripps over the line. Crisp, rather, over the line. And it will come in again.
One away, Braden.
Well, prior opportunity, plenty of it. That's holding the ball.
I would have thought so.
Hot footy now, isn't it? That Simpson play in the middle of the ground was just so brilliant. Deserved a better outcome. Ball. Well, a couple of really good players just colliding. Pendlebury, he's a seasoned veteran against a youngster who is starting to make his mark on the competition. And Patrick Cripps.
Hit the meter, Matt.
Next goal. Huge difference, isn't it? 7 points or 19. Early going, final term. Lead was 30 points late in the third term. Last 3 to the Pies.
Scotty's had no prior.
This is the most sustained aggression we've seen around the contest all day by Collingwood.
What can Collingwood do? The Pies in their best form haven't met too often as yet this year.
That's in the back now. It's a silly free kick to give away there.
Don't give it away.
Because this sends the ball inside attacking 50.
Right's the kicker. Everett, Walker, Casbolt, Sumner at the fall of the ball. Now Daisy. Oh, he would have loved that. Just cut off at the pass. Desperate stuff from Jeremy Howe.
So Oxley, a couple of bounces out from fullback. The ball down the line. Rowe got there with a hand. Down to Plowman. No, he ignored Plowman. Clever. Kerridge. Now right. Outside 50. Pops it up. And he can really savour this one. Daisy Thomas against his old side with a chance to make it a 20-point lead. And now 50. Umpire Farmer has been particularly hot on it today. I reckon all 3 50s have been from umpire Luke Farmer. And Daisy against his old side. The Blues lead by 20 points. Gubby Allen didn't take long to find his seat in amongst the Collingwood hierarchy.
Inside 10 metres, okay?
Thomas with his first goal of the afternoon. And one of his most important as a Blue. That's against his old team.
Well, the discussion went on long after this. Umpire Farmer telling the players that you were 10 metres inside that protected area. There was a congregation of Collingwood players there.
So 5 50-metre penalties now to the Blues. 1 to the Pies. That one critical. Daisy gets his second goal against Collingwood. First for the afternoon. Cripps, terrific. Simpson, a sidestep. Then he backs himself. Works his way through the middle of the MCG. A bounce to 60 runs. Gibbs is at home. White, well, he had to do something brilliant. And he did, Jesse. He's been swung back in defence. And he's going to be swung, I would think, for the rest of his career. Reid, who's been injured and wounded, back out onto the ground. Out in the Moore direction. Greenwood kicked the first goal of this final term. Pushed onto his right boot. To half-forward he goes for Solo. Seen a lot of the football this afternoon. He's been very good. 4 goals again this afternoon. He's done that 3 times already this year. To the face for the Irishman. Kieran Burns gone down. A nick under the right eye.
It's a nice old war wound, isn't it? Up in front. Cruiser, De Goey, Blair. Somehow the ball with White. It comes back inside 50. Flyers up. Ball comes down Greenwood's way, who hooks it back towards the line. And Jamison over Cox, making sure it's just the minor score. So 19 points now. Here's the lead. Collingwood 11-8. Carlton 14-9. Burn in just a little bit of trouble.
Last time they went end-to-end, Carlton on a kick-in, point kick-in.
Plowman, Thomas just needs to knock it over the top. There was Everett waiting, couldn't get it there. Back it comes to Howe.
Play on.
So White finds himself charging past the circles and past Cruiser. Fasolo sets himself. Rowe got a fist onto it. Cripps, just a little fumble, the give. It got there in the end, and again Simpson backs himself. Takes on a heap of pies. Into the hands of Gibbs. Sweeping handball, couple on the outer side, and a run or two. Doherty's one of them. Crocker, the debutant, chases. Terrific. Well, the kick was brilliant. The mark was very, very poor. And Howe's held Everett up, and that's just inexcusable.
That was just terrible concentration then by Everett. He just relaxed as the ball came towards him. They were away. That was a super break then from Carlton. And hasn't Simpson's run been devastating in the early part of this final term?
Simpson set all that up, and Everett let it all come undone. Can they get hold of the footy here? Murphy and Aish. Still in. Not now.
A quiet afternoon, Aish. Just the 4 disposals.
Found it really hard this afternoon coming back into the team.
The move of Jesse White up to the wings been productive for Collingwood too in the early part.
And he's looked good, hasn't he, setting up play through the midfield? James Aish played 4 straight, was emergency last week. Struggled to find the tempo today. Here's Gibbs, Simpson, Burns okay, back out there, the Irishman. Long striding, high bouncing, good evading. Well done to Kerridge, who kept it alive for Jones. Knocked it further forward, Frost under pressure. Armfield sweating on him. Frost lost his feet, Armfield didn't. Keeps the ball alive. They deserve a goal here, the Blues. Jones did well to keep it going. Murphy, Pendlebury got him, good tackle. Lamb, Pendlebury again. Like slow motion, just found the football on the ground. Kerridge, Byrne, who was in there from the start. Cruiser, Thomas, Curnow, Murphy. They've kept it alive until now, over the line.
They've managed to torch the ball a couple of times, Carlton, when they've had an open field to run into.
There's probably only 6 or 7 clean possessions amongst about 90 desperate acts.
Let him run it!
14 minutes to play. 19 points the margin. Cruiser knocked it down. Pendlebury got into the right spot, the right time. He's done it all his career.
Incorrect disposal, Collingwood.
So Everett caught with the football. White starting to have an impact on this game.
Just slow movement, though. There's just nothing on for him here.
You can see what is before Jesse White.
That's a really smart kick in the end. He pulled his kick to the favoured side of Grundy. But Carlton had been good in transition all afternoon, getting back in numbers.
Very quiet afternoon for Grundy. Just his 5th disposal is for Solo. Flies high. How do they conjure the next, the Magpies?
Move it on. Play on.
10 gone. Big pack at half forward. Rowe amongst it all, as he always seems to be for the Blues. Right on the end of the handball. Well done. Thomas starting to flower again is Daisy, and jeered again, but the Blues starting to get more value from him 3 against the Dockers. Brilliant last week against the Bombers, and his best outing against the Pies. Simpson now to Doherty, over the top to a man who can go if he wants or just work it wide. Does the latter. Back inside. Heard the umpire. Another fumble from Everett, and then gave it up to Howe. Howe now got one running by. Tuvey, White, Howe. Now to Aish. Aish holds, draws Plowman onto the left boot. Rowe got a fist onto it. Ball was held.
That was off the ball too.
Well, things...
That's just another kick that doesn't hit the target, Hammer. And they're away again.
Yeah.
There's the off the ball there. Just Zach Tui just holding on to Moore, trying to position him to allow Rowe to take a mark.
Darcy, 1 metre that way. Darcy, thank you.
And it's these errors really that are keeping Collingwood in the game.
So Darcy Moore is lining up his third. And the Pies trying to make it 4 of the last 5. More goals, margin 13 points.
Well, there's been 2 passages of play involving Andreas Everett. The first one was his error where he wasn't able to secure the ball, which should have been a simple mark, and the ball was turned over. But then it was a kick that didn't reach the mark, and he wasn't able to handle the ball at ground level, which enabled Collingwood then to turn the ball over. And really, they didn't have the numbers, but the free kick gave Darcy Moore an easy chance to score a goal.
They're still alive, the Magpies, not for the first time in this final term. The margin back to 13 points in favour of the Blues. They've been brave here, the Magpies. They've been a man down for a lot of this half. And Murphy, good tackle to Goey. Perfect tackle.
No. Wait, stop, Jack. Hold them up. Time back on. Stay out, stay with him. Play on. Go.
So to Goey outside 50. High ball inside. Moore again the target. Well done to Doherty. Simpson came from Plowman. Now Thomas just with enough on the footy to make sure it got over the line.
Simpson's done some wonderful things for the Blues in this final term. That was either take possession and get brought to ground or quickly flick it on.
7 touches for Simpson in this final term, Haim. He's been terrific, as you said. Next week plays game 250, the 12th Blue to make it to 250 games. And in the 7 weeks that follow, if he plays them all, he'll pass some Carlton royalty. Speaking of which, Murphy down the line. Jones. High ball towards the top of the 50 and Everett. White was there as well. Armfield not out of this contest. Walker held up for now. Good tackle.
I made the comment earlier about Carlton's skill level. It really has kept Collingwood in the game. As the boys tire, it's just getting worse and worse.
And Sully, we're talking about that next goal. 7 points or 19. Maynard gets a lot of territory, but gives the football back to the Carlton Footy Club. Plowman. Kieran Byrne wants it on the logo. Ignored. Plowman takes on for Solo, runs himself into trouble. Trelaw's off to the races, takes on both Kieran Byrne and takes the advantage. Aish calls the player to come at him. Moore, who's been lively in this last term. A little fly, not enough though. Coming through, Broomhead back on the ground. Handball to Blair, gets away from his opponent. Back to Fasolo, back it comes to Blair. Got a runner, side bottom. Normally can finish. Kicks from about 45. Kicks across the face.
Still in it, Tim. They're right in it at the moment. Murphy called to go. Kick, a dangerous one. Gets to Lamb, gives it to Kerridge. Now towards the wing. 50-50 ball. Everett did well.
Jeremy, hold!
Half a step in front of Howe and Marks. Half a step inside the boundary line. Carlton by 12 points. Their lead was 19 at the last change. It's Doherty with disposal number 19. And Simpson, I mentioned the next 7 games after he goes past 50. He'll go past Kernahan, Ratton and Jezelenko. Tui, thumping kick, long down towards Walker. Pushed off the football, Pendlebury, cool man, just the man you need. Maynard, De Goey, running the ball out through Smith. Now towards the wing and Broomhead. Back out there, terrific to see, was off the ground for a lot of the third quarter. Sets it up high. Moore over the top. The fist came from Byrne. Well done, Simpson. Got it to Rowe. Gets it to Murphy.
Good kick over the top. And Tim, the Blues defence, we've talked about it the last couple of weeks. If there is a significant area that has been improved,
it's their defensive game all round. The problem we've seen so many times highlighted this afternoon is their inability to be able to finish their work and their effectiveness and efficiency with their disposal. But can Collingwood continue to put them under pressure?
A 2-goal lead. 8.5 minutes to play. Reid, handball brilliant to De Goey. Now to the skipper. Ambling on the outer side. Well, Moore, sticky hands again, runs into Doherty. Contemplates the next move. To a dangerous spot, side bottom. That high football IQ. Again, Simpson got a hand in there. Ace, 360, still got rid of the football. Plowman got to be quick, was. Thomas to Simpson again. And now over the top. 10th touch of the term for Simpson. Now Walker. Everett leads to the footy. Low ball. That time it was clean. Now Gibbs. Short. Heard the umpire. Next play important. Here we go. Another mark. Another opportunity for Casbolt.
I hope you can sense it up there, guys, but the crowd down here have really come alive this last 5 minutes. Collingwood in particular fans can really sniff some blood.
Simpson's playing the free player, so they've got a free at either end of the ground, and he really is directing traffic for Carlton. I think in this last few minutes, I'd be tempted for Collingwood just to man him up and play even numbers at both ends.
So much history between these two clubs. Both sit 2 and 4. Casbolt has got the Blues out to a 3-goal lead.
Tough for Collingwood. Fantastic for Casbolt, though. With all of the pressure on him and all the yips, mentally.
That's great to see, though.
Terrific. You love it.
After the afternoon he's had, he kicked a couple of easy ones close in, missed a couple of others that he should have kicked. But under the pressure then of the game situation, that's great that he nailed that.
Thanks, trainer. Trying to move.
This is the last 3 weeks from a Blues perspective. Jones, a clutch goal in the West, and then last week it was Phillips. And well, is the Casbolt goal enough to get the Blues home? Still 7 minutes of playing time.
18 points the margin now. It's now or never for the Magpies. They need to find some answers, and it needs to come quickly for that man and his team.
We've evened up the numbers now. Collingwood behind the ball or in front of the ball.
So Pendlebury out of the middle. And Rowe just drifting off. Marks easily.
6.5 minutes to play. If you're a Pies fan, you think there's not enough to be comfortable. If you're a Blues fan, it seems like an eternity.
And 2 6-day breaks coming off the trip to Perth. You know, how much have they got left in their legs, the Pies?
So can they get their first win against the old enemy, the Magpies, for 4 years? Round 15, 2012. Casbolt in everything at the moment. Here's Lamb. Gets away from Cox. Keeps the football moving forward. Inside 50 for Walker. Well done, Tuvey. Claims the mark. No mark. Pendlebury. Treloar. Off half-back Smith. Then he looks up. Not a great deal to come to. Held it just long enough. And Aish, who's got into this game finally in this last term, steps around Doherty. Long ball is on here. Man on his own and marks. And it's the first game up. Ben Crocker inside 50.
You're right about Aish.
To kick his first goal in senior football.
He had 4 disposals up to 3/4 time. He's had 5 in the last quarter, so he's really been able to find the ball. big kick for a young man playing his first game, isn't it?
19 years of age, the Kew Comets, Carey Grammer, Oakley in the under-18s to keep his Magpies alive. Just snuck in for a behind.
So next step important for the Blues. Tui comfortable just to take things on himself, and Casbolt just continues to do terrific things in the air, and importantly kicked his third moments ago to get the margin back out to 18 points. The Crocker point now means 3 goals in just under 5 minutes is the equation for the Pies. Simpson again gets the football in this final term. A mixture of cheers and jeers again for Daisy. Cripps looks inside, almost thought about Thomas, goes back inside in the end, this time to Doherty. Off a step, long wait in the end. Everett, Lamb, both watch on. Lamb got there, got fist to ball to ground. Kerridge, Smith, Walker. I think Maynard underneath all of those.
You mentioned Casbolt. He's up to 17 disposals. He's had 11 marks and had 10 contested possessions in that as well. So he's had a huge afternoon and probably could have kicked 6 goals.
Grundy knocks it over the top to Goey. Little sidestep. Got around Lamb. Treloar. Josh Smith, who'll get there first. Got around Subner. Gave it to Pendlebury. Now to Howe. And now the run. Treloar comes streaming through. Got the chaser in Doherty. Knew he was there. Kick in front of Blair. There's time just to hold on to the footy. Simpson just corrals him. Grundy, big play coming up. Well, just as big from Doherty.
Really clever play by Simpson there not to overcommit and allow Blair that overlap, forcing him that high dinky kick on his left inside 50.
He's a good player, Doherty. Another 21 disposals this afternoon. Terrific defender. White, Grundy, neither of them really got hands on the footy. Curnow to Gibbs. Hurried kick only as far as Treloar. So another opportunity here. 17 points is the margin. They need a quick one and then a couple more after that. Ball drifts towards the back. Blair tracking it back towards the line. They'll get a stoppage inside 50. Over 60,000 here this afternoon. Hard to watch for some of them. And this man, with an undermanned team, no disgrace this performance. They've got close to double figures in regular players out of their team, but still they started favourites. Simpson to Cripps. And there's an illegal shepherd against Curnow, is it?
Too high the shepherd. Too high the shepherd.
Wow.
He's still got him high.
So watch it here. Just didn't need to put the hand out, Tim. Crisp, outside 50, into the square. Cruiser, the big fist over the line.
Some good body work there by Jamison off the ball there against Mason Cox.
So 3 goals in just under 3 minutes, the equation. Can they get their first here? Here's a chance. Crocker crashes into Burn. So too to Goey. Tui, big play coming up. Back he goes. Handballs to Jamison. Now to Doherty. To the wing. Everett will get there first.
You would think that Collingwood are going to have to consider bringing Cloak back into this team for next weekend. They go on the road to Brisbane next week, is it? Yeah. That's a tough one up there too. They won't start that game favourites.
So slim pickings for the Pies in recent times. A couple of wins late in the year. 2 of their last 11 and just 2 so far for the year. Can they drag something from the Ashes this afternoon? Greenwood got a goal early in this term. Mason Cox runs out of room.
Don't go high. Mason, let's go. Come on.
Mason's 2-11 end to end. Almost an institution that Curnow wants to take on there. Back to Cruiser and Grundy.
Certainly got him for reach. Cruiser won that one down. Doherty gives it away. Crisp gathers. hooks it back too far, I think, and just to behind. So it's 15 points with 2 minutes and 5 seconds left on the clock. Not quite a miracle needed from here, but everything but. They need a very fast turnover here, Haim, to have just some hope.
So again, a ball kicked with plenty on it. Thomas almost. Cruiser did the roving. Now to Thomas. The look away to Kerridge. Treloar. Clever little slap. Crocker. Moore. DeGoey. Caught. Gone. And maybe so too Collingwood's afternoon.
Been caught a couple of times this afternoon, DeGoey. Just that awareness in the heat. And that's a great tackle there by Gibbs, though. Great leadership at this stage of the game.
Who would have thought the Blues, from such a horrid run last year, 4 wins, wooden spoon, after 7 rounds would be 3 and 4. Fremantle in the West, minor premiers last year, their first win of the year. The Bombers in the middle, and now the Pies.
And the season's really slipping away for Collingwood now, isn't it? When you're 2 and 5, go on the road against Brisbane, and they're a tough assignment up there too.
Geelong and the Bulldogs to follow that for Collingwood. So Wright again, clever. This time a check side to a dangerous spot. Treloar is there, combines with Smith. The two of them mop up, send it to the outer side. Greenwood and Sumner. Greenwood, well, he kicked the first of this term, got it back to 13 points. Thomas and Casbolt have responded for the Blues. Moore a goal in between them. Moore's got the footy now and sends it to half forward. Thomas knocks it away. Treloar, little give this time. Ends up with Smith, top of the square. Jamison has support with Tui, and out the back, guess who?
Simpson has been so clean, hasn't he? Gibbs has had a terrific afternoon as well. That's disposal 29 now. And Simpson, disposal 31. They deserve to win it and get their 3rd in a row. Cruiser, Cripps, a long handball swept forward to Gibbs, who's not quite gone for the line, disguised it well enough, and Walker with the last touch after Gibbs got it from Wright for a boundary throw-in with 11 seconds left on the clock.
That's their month ahead too, and every one of those games is going to be difficult for Collingwood.
So in many ways, a history-making afternoon for the Blues. They're going to beat the old enemy Collingwood for the first time since round 15, 2012, and they get 3 in a row for the first time since 2013 in the process. Carlton by 15 points over Collingwood.